All right, another quick segment. Backcountry marksman staying sharp on a work day. A whole lot I want to unpack on this one. I've had a busy day today, just getting off work at sprinkling. I still got the sheep to get put up, got the horses fed and put up. I got the barn set up because at 5 o'clock on Fridays, I host a Men Who Provide, Protect, and Lead group. I'll be up at 3 a.m. this coming morning because I host that group here on the barn every second Friday, and I cook coffee, brew coffee, and cook pies for them. So like you, I'm a busy guy. I just want to dream up ideas to stay sharp. A few things I want to unpack about that setup on that stand. Obviously, it was a steel target down there at just 110 yards, according to the about 108 yards it was, 106 yards, I think, according to the rangefinder. About what I just did. I came in with my pack and everything geared up, and I want you to notice just a few small things on my setup. Obviously, I kept myself with a good brush behind me, break up my outline. I slipped in quietly. I have a slight breeze crossing kind of from the little bit the northeast across. I had my binocs on first and then my pack. So when I decided to carefully remove my pack, if I had forgotten to put my binocs on second, I'd been all tangled up. I got my stool out, got my stick out, and of course prepped my rifle. You seen me look with my binoculars and check all around. I wasn't just checking shooting areas and where I expected possibly a varmint or something to come through, but I was checking to make sure there wasn't anybody else out there in the field. Not very often way up in the back country will you run into somebody. Maybe 1 out of 10 million people get out there in America, but I've run into a couple. One was an old timer, a true backwoodsman, and he was hunting back in there. Another one was a military guy who had worked his way back in the back country where he'd like to sharpen his marksmanship skills. So there are people. So before I ever moved any further in my setup, I checked the backdrops. I checked the hills behind me. I checked what could be wood lines, anything that might reveal to me that there could be a hunter, a hiker, anybody or anything back there, livestock, wildlife, things I didn't want to harm. And I make sure I've got a good backstop. That's part of getting your setup, is you know you're shooting into a hillside as you shoot at your quarry. Next thing you notice I did was pull out my rangefinder. Before I got to any game, I put in my mind, after going through my binoculars, where I expect game to show themselves and where I would take and not take a shot. And then I already preset, looked at my yardage. If everything was inside 200 yards, I'm right on. I'm good. If things are further than that, I might have to change some settings. I need to know that before I shoot. Well, I might have to hold or something like that. I'm not waiting until I see game. Do that. Then when I was prepped, I went ahead and chambered up, went on safety, and began my calling sequence. And then took my time when I got on target. I'm still not totally sold on the stick. It's what I've got, so it's what I'm using. And remember, our last tip of the week was to use what you got and get good with it. But I did hit a 4-inch gong at that 106 yards. That's nothing. I normally shoot 4-inch gongs at 200 yards. That's where I like to sight my rifle. So it's not that I'm stretching myself out here like I do out in the back country. It's that I'm honing and keeping sharp the skills I've built and been building. And so for the working man and the working woman, when our chance comes to the back country, they may be far and few in between sometimes. Let's keep ourselves sharp in between on those work nights and those work days. Find yourself a piece of country. Find a rancher who'll let you shoot, or find a piece of BLM land you can get to pretty quick. It's got a good backdrop, and just set up and practice. The whole thing is learning to use your gear and not be clumsy with it. Last time you seen I struggled with my binoc, getting the eyepieces right, getting the covers off one of the lenses. Little things like that will show up. Maybe something makes a noise. Maybe you can't get your binoculars around right. Maybe you haven't got a pocket to put your collar in. things like that. Work it out. Get your pack put together. Know where things are and where you need to pull things off at. Also learn to shoot with your pack on. And that's another story, but hey, backwoods marksmen stay sharp. They find a way to keep their tools ready, and most important, their mind and their body and their skills honed. Shoot straight, ride well, speak the truth.